Well, if every meeting with Italy will always evoke memories of just how close England came to glory, this one's also a reminder of how quickly things can change. Barely 14 months on after the agonising climax to the final of the Euros, the Three Lions start the night from the position they hope is their low watermark, whilst any Azuri fan will tell you they're beyond rock bottom. England's 4-0 defeat to Hungary has to be the line in the sand. As bad an isolated result as any in living memory, even if it didn't necessarily have the widespread ramifications of many others. There were a barrel load of mitigating circumstances, but that week of action in June's done nothing to aid World Cup preparation. Quite the reverse. Now the Three Lions find themselves in a relegation scrap. And if loss of Nations League stature might not matter to many England fans, finishing bottom of any group does nothing for you psychologically, and it would have a knock-on effect for seeding in future qualification campaigns. But at least there's a World Cup to look forward to. Italy don't even have that. Failing again to reach the tournament, a second successive failure sandwiched around their Euro success that looks out of place in those surroundings. It's been an abrupt fall from grace. The locals think this is a candidate for being the worst Italian team in history, with the absence of 11 players through injury and 2 more omitted. Well, before the game, there will be a minute's silence. And whilst there have been pictures of Her Majesty the Queen on the big screens, the Italians are primarily honouring the memory of the victims of the recent Marche floods in the east of the country. Tribute to those who lost their lives in the floods in the Italian region of Marche, and also to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. So Italy tonight, Donnarumma in goal, Toloi, Bonucci and Acerbi in a likely back three, Di Lorenzo, Barella, Jorginho, Cristante, Di Marco, Scamacca and Raspadori. England, Pope in goal, Walker, Dyer, Maguire, James, Bellingham, Rice and Saka, whose first 3 starts for his country all came at left wing back, Foden, Kane and Sterling. The countdown to the World Cup ticks ever louder, with just 2 games and less than 2 months standing between England and their latest tilt at glory. Tonight, a much needed chance to put June behind them and restore pride and belief ahead of 2022's real business. But the bottom line here is that defeat tonight and England are relegated from Ligue A in the Nations League. The Italians in all blue, they're kicking from right to left in this first half. England in possession, Harry Kane trying to flick it on, Phil Foden buzzing around Acerbi, forces him to hit it hurriedly back for Donnarumma, whose clearance wasn't the best. Walker in strongly, and Bellingham can now pick things up for England, who are in the white shirts with the dark blue area around the neck, almost a throwback to 1982, just missing the redness as well. And then dark blue shorts as Foden goes down, and he's been caught hurt. Firm challenge by Cristante. Foden got a bang on the hand there as much as anything else. There's a free kick which will be taken by England pretty much on halfway. Spanish referee Jesus Hill Manzano just having a word with Cristante. I'm delighted to say alongside me, former England captain Stuart Pearce.
Evening, Jim. Yeah, really looking forward to this one. England in their new kit, which I actually quite like. I think it suits them, and just looking at Walker's position there early on, I think he'll play right centre half in a 3, but he'll be quite happy to advance inside slightly and supplement the midfield on occasion.
Well, you would imagine that England may well have a fair bit of the possession in this game. They've certainly had the majority of it in the early stages, as Walker plays it down for Reece James, who from this distance looks as though he's got a touch of the Dickie Davises about him, although I appreciate that's a cultural reference for people of a certain age. He's got a Kevin Peterson blonde streak in his black hair with a tint of pink around it as well. Donnarumma with a much more rudimentary shaven-headed haircut. Has possession, the Italian goalkeeper. Played out towards the left-hand side where it's very cleverly touched around the corner by Di Marco, and Italy will be able to get it wide with Barella. And Barella now driving it over the head of Di Marco and straight out of play for a throw that will be taken on the England right-hand side by Rhys James. With Talksport with 2.5 minutes in, and it's Italy 0, England 0.
Yeah, that situation about Walker just developed there. Walker just advanced a little bit to go and press and get tight, and it just left the odd space behind and big distances to cover. From one moment the Italians looked as though they might exploit that.
Bonucci in possession, who helped break England's hearts with that equalising goal in the final of the Euros. He's fired it over the top. Here is a dangerous ball, and left-footed shot which Pope has been able to beat away, diving to his right-hand side. The offside flag has come up, and Stuart, neither you nor I are sure that that is the correct decision. The flag only came up after the shot came in, and as a consequence, had the goal been scored, it would have been a VAR check. And my initial reaction, like yours, was that he was onside.
Well, I think he made the run initially, checked his run when he was offside, come back on, but when the ball come, to my eye, I think he was onside.
That's a piece of goalkeeping from Nick Pope, diving down to his right-hand side and able to make the stop. Pope, who's only conceded once in his 8 internationals so far. Jakub Moder of Poland, the only man who's beaten him in 10.25 hours of play. England losing possession again. Right-footed shot comes in from the edge of the penalty area from Raspadori. It's deflected away off Jude Bellingham and out of play for a throw that the bleach blonde-haired Di Marco is going to come across to take about 8 yards from the corner flag. And England, after good possession in the opening couple of minutes, have just had a torrid last couple. Di Marco preparing to take this throw. He gets the return ball from Raspadori, a high left-footed cross, swung in towards the far post where Scamacca's header is just, and I mean just, palmed away by Nick Pope before he goes into the top right-hand corner.
Well, incredible really. That ball was fantastic cross to the far post, and it was Scamacca who just rose above Maguire and got a great header, and I think Pope, between Pope and the woodwork, managed to keep it out, I think.
There's going to be a corner which will be taken on the Italian right. It sounds of early nerves for England, who haven't really settled. Bonucci making a very late run forward inside the penalty area, and he's missed his kick. But he's sprinted from the halfway line, timed his run to perfection. In comes the subsequent cross towards the edge of the penalty area, which Scamacca can't get hold of. Then it's half cleared. Bonucci trying to help it back in, and England eventually, with Harry Kane back defending, can volley it away, and it goes out of play for an Italian throw. And England in the last 3 minutes haven't been able to get out of their own half, and Italy are trying to turn the screw.
I think some of this has come from the fact of both England and Italy, to be fair, but more England have been more the culprits, are trying to play out from the back when the opposition are fully fresh and looking to press quite hard, and it's just bringing the opposition onto them slightly.
Raspadori, who we spoke about in the build-up, is an excellent player, good in the press, and it's a very clever flick from him now to feed Scamacca, whose shot from distance goes well wide. He's about 30 yards out, and he acknowledged very quickly that he had a better option ahead of him, with Barella having made a good run forward from the right-hand side of the midfield 3, but Scamacca went for glory, fired it wide, and England now can draw collective breath after a shaky opening 6 minutes here on Talksport at 0-0.
Well, you asked me this afternoon over lunch, Jim, what David Moyes thought of Scamacca, and the one thing I did say to you, he's got a shot like a sledgehammer, so it was no surprise to me that he looked from about 35 yards, but just didn't collect that one correctly. And England have decided, sorry Jim, England have decided not to bother playing out from the back and going from back to front now.
Just in a bit to try and get a touch of the ball in Italian territory. It's 5-4 by Pope and headed on by Kane. Headed down then by Bonucci, who swiftly got it back from Jorginho and punted it forward left-footed. Kyle Walker's control slightly awkward, but he's able to turn it back away from Raspadori. Finds Nick Pope, and it comes back out to Walker again. And now Bellingham, who's now played 100 Dortmund games, is able to play it forward over halfway, but he couldn't find Kane. And Bonucci Can shepherd it back to his goalkeeper Donnarumma. Donnarumma in all red just plays it out. Cherby on the left of the three centre-halves helping it forward. Walker with time to take a touch, volleys it forward. Kane trying to cushion it under pressure from Jorginho. Sees possession bounce away from him. And then Cherby will lay it back for his goalkeeper again. Donnarumma taking a touch and then chipping it forward towards halfway. As the heads go up for it, it bypasses both Scamacca and his club teammate Declan Rice. And Eric Dyer can calmly bring it under control and lay it back for his goalkeeper Nick Pope. 7.5 minutes gone, and England have already needed a decent intervention from Pope and the woodwork to keep it at 0-0. As Bellingham is fouled here, and England get a free kick just inside the Italian half.
Yeah, the Italians moaning about that one, not suggesting it was a foul, and Raspadori, I tend to agree with you, I don't think it was.
So the free kick will be taken right on the halfway line as Walker finds Bellingham. Bellingham to his left-hand side for Harry Maguire. Just glad to be back in the starting lineup again. Having started the first two Premier League games of the season, but none of Manchester United's subsequent four. Clever little leave by Sterling as Kane tries to get in. Bonucci's there first and gets it back to his goalkeeper. Donnarumma again with no thought of playing out from the back, just hoiks it forward. Two England players, Rice and Maguire, attack the same ball. Rice then tries to win the seconds on halfway, but Barella can bring it down and flags it forward looking for Scamacca. Eric Dyer was in the right place to head away. And Bellingham will lay it back. Sterling with a clever little touch, and Bellingham then beats the nearest Italian player before flicking it off to his left for Saka. Saka back for Rice. Rice to Maguire, and Eric Dyer immediately points to the goalkeeper. And Maguire obliges by playing it back for Nick Pope. And I guess if there's a criticism of Pope's game in comparison to the other three frontline England goalkeepers at the moment, you would say that it is his distribution from the back. Everything is relative, but he's a player that's not going to try anything more than a relatively simple pass. The Italians bring it forward again, and Pope is able to easily claim. Di Lorenzo's cross coming in and straight into his midriff. Pope can make a relatively comfortable save and bowl it out towards Saka on the left-hand side, but it's not been a vintage opening 10 minutes here on a very pleasant autumnal evening in Milan. 0-0 here on Talksport. Here's Reece James. Bring it towards halfway and then stopping, checking, and turning it back for Walker. Walker to his left-hand side has Dyer. Dyer working it forward for the yellow-booted Maguire again. Sterling showing for the ball into feet, and then was fouled. Rafael Toloi, the Brazilian-born defender that just stepped up from the defensive line and caught him. I think they'll have a free kick about 18 yards or so outside the penalty area, and a chance to get the centre-halves forward in conjunction with Harry Kane's an opportunity for England to attack a Phil Foden delivery here.
I think in these early stages England have looked to sort of build up from the back and build up slowly, and it's almost just encouraged the Italians to come on and press them fairly aggressively, and they're chancing passes. But good opportunity here, as you say, with Foden over the ball. 4 or 5 players in that Italian line looking to break through and time their runs correctly.
So Dyer peels away, it's fired in, looking for Bellingham. There was a big shout for a handball in there from Bellingham, but the referee didn't agree. Play goes on, England still have it. Foden and Sterling combining on the left-hand side of the area, and as Sterling laying it back, where Bellingham can then poke it back for the dark-haired, thick-set figure of Declan Rice. Back out towards Raheem Sterling on the England left, who exchanges passes with Saka. Played out towards Jude Bellingham. Maguire and Dyer both still forward on the edge of the penalty area, and he's swung in now for Maguire to come and attack, but all he could do was make contact with him. Nothing more significant than that. Di Lorenzo defending well enough, and Donnarumma can make a comfortable play.
I think Di Lorenzo done very well there. I think he got first contact and sort of went to ground as well to try and buy a foul. Yeah, I think he's done very well defending Maguire. Not the easiest job to do.
Other games are taking place in the Nations League tonight, most significantly in this group, where Germany against Hungary is still 0-0. Finland lead Romania by a goal to nil. Finland can still win the group, but they've got to win tonight, and they need the Bosnians not to beat Montenegro. That's the state of play at the moment. In this one, England know that they're relegated if they lose. It's 0-0 here in Milan still in the very early stages. Eric Dyer, playing for England for the first time since November 2020, playing it out towards Maguire. Kane drops off and comes back, flicks it forward towards Sterling, and Saka has won a throw on the England left, which he takes very quickly. Picks up the ball, throws it down for Declan Rice, gets an immediate return pass. Bellingham will lay it through the centre circle for Walker, and Walker's got the opportunity to take on Raspadori and lay it out for the elaborately coiffured James. Now back for Bellingham. Bellingham to Maguire. And Maguire is making a run across the edge of the D ahead of him, but he's played a more conservative ball out of the England left-hand side for Sterling. Back he goes now for Eric Dyer inside the centre circle. Dyer into the feet of Bellingham and straight back for Dyer once more.
I think the word you just mentioned there is probably what how we're playing at the moment, conservative. The ball's been played out to Raheem, who got himself in a wide area there, one-on-one. Now, what I would say, even at these early stages in game, put your opponent on the back foot. Go and take him on. Instead, we played back and safe, and in the end, it was Declan who played a loose ball out of play.
Oh, Sterling with a lovely turn as England get possession back. He's got Foden buzzing away to his left. He's playing Kane on the right-hand side of the area. It's a cross-come shot which deflected up in the air off a defender, and then DiMarco will be able to clear towards halfway, but that was all born of a lovely touch in the midfield from Sterling. Italy then try and break quickly, but Rice can very quickly negate that counter-attacking threat. Kane will bulldoze his way forward inside the area before being stopped by Toloi. Foden tried to win it back, almost got the better of Acerbi, and then Reece James comes through the middle, putting pressure on the left wing back to Marco, and England lost their shape for a moment defensively, although Walker dropped back in and a high ball sailed over Scamacca's head anyway, and England get comfortable possession back at the back. Now we're through the opening 14 minutes at 0-0.
Yeah, I think the game's sort of going to settle down into a sort of counter-attack. Both teams look quite threatening off the counter-attack against each other, and that's the way it's going to pan out. Harry Kane, unfortunate there, drove into the box but just overran.
There's the thoughts of Stuart Pearce, the former England captain, World Cup star. Here's Walker, played forward towards Foden. Don't forget, every kick of every game at the forthcoming 2022 FIFA World Cup is live on the Talksport network. Ball's back for Eric Dyer as the England fans in the top tier of the stand away to our right-hand side for their first in-game rendition of The King. Here's Raspadori, 10 yards outside the penalty area. Played out towards Barella, who has got a free kick. He went to ground. It seemed to trip himself up as he then collided with Sterling, but the decision's gone his way. No real complaints from the England man, and it's a free kick level with the right-hand edge of the box, which is 8 yards outside the penalty area. And Scamacca's waiting, but Bonucci will languidly stroll forward to take his place in the contingent around the edge of the penalty area as well.
Yeah, just looking at Dyer there. Dyer's playing very similar to how he does at Tottenham. Plays quite deep as that central man, but he's got the ability to pick a pass, which he did just then. Very good on passing out the back through the lines, and that's something he does very well for Tottenham that certainly we noticed for West Ham last year, but certainly I'm seeing that in the position in an England shirt now as well.
So with the exception of Barella, everybody's forward for Italy. Bonucci at the moment standing in what's an offside position. England holding a line of 8. And the second time of asking, DiMarco fires it in and Kane can clear, but it's going to spin out towards the dead ball line for another Italian corner. That was a well-worked free kick, because England keeping this high line, they dummied the free kick and all 7 in the line dropped back in. And then DiMarco hurriedly attacked the ball. Disappointing delivery from him, but he's got a corner out of it. It's a relatively congested 6-yard box as well. The second Italian corner. Scamacca standing by the penalty spot, trying to get a free of Declan Rice, but he's pushed him to the ground. And as a result, it's a free kick to England. No harm done. And we're 17 minutes in at 0-0.
Little nudge there, just put Declan on his backside. The referee done very well picking that one up. Yeah, I just think, going on that point earlier, Jim, I just think when we get the ball forward, if we can get players in wide areas or isolating one-on-one. We've got enough ability and pace in our ranks to go and get turned and go and take them on.
Walker laid it back for Pope, who calmly but almost erroneously side-footed the ball out of his penalty area, and he came very close to presenting it to Raspadori. It's gone out of play for an England throw, but his heart would have been in his mouth for a moment there.
It was a really poor clearance, I've got to say. It was a straight ball and just very, very loose.
Now the other game in this group, it's Germany 0, Hungary 1. 1-0 the Hungarians lead in Germany. So the group as it stands at the moment, Hungary 10, Germany 6, Italy 6 and England 3. If it stays like that, the Hungarians have won the group. Long time to go though. Hungary's final game at home to Italy. England, as I know you're aware, take on Germany at Wembley on Monday night, and you can join us with a big match build-up starting here on Talksport from 7 on Monday. Here's Bellingham in possession here at the Giuseppe Meazza in Milan as ball's played forward by Reece James, gets it back for Walker after a fashion and then plays it in towards Eric Dyer. Dyer will be able to take it on 5 yards before working it to his left for Maguire. Maguire back for Dyer again. Pope forced into a half-decent save in the early stages where England just had a really shaky 3-minute spell. But other than that, very little of consequence has happened at either end. Foden laying it back for Dyer. He's in the central area, 15 yards inside his own half. Ball from him into the feet of Maguire. To Saka, playing at left wing back again today. Kane just caught from behind by Bonucci. Wins the free kick 10 yards inside the Italian half.
Yeah, I'm seeing too many backward passes at the moment. We play it forward and someone receives it, half a chance to turn, play safe and check out, and backwards it goes. Too many of those, and I think we've got too much ability in our team not to get turned and go and take people on.
Foden to Bellingham. Sterling trying to turn it through down the inside left channel for Bukayo Saka, who then wins it back as Jorginho is caught in possession, playing out from the back. Well won back by Rafael Toloi, and then Rice came in and twice challenged Barella. The second time of asking, he's flicked it off the Italian and out of play for an England throw. Barella complaining he felt he was fouled with the first Declan Rice challenge, but nothing given, and England quickly restart play.
Yeah, to be fair, Declan Rice covering the ground like he does quite incredibly, so quick into the challenge. And the only thing that surprised me there was Barella didn't go to ground and attempt to buy a free kick.
Live football from Milan tonight. Tomorrow night, Talksport brings you exclusive radio commentary of Joe Joyce's heavyweight bout with Joseph Parker for the WBO interim title. That's live from the Manchester Arena tomorrow night with the coverage beginning at 8. You won't want to miss it. It is, of course, live on Talksport. Pope in all yellow tonight, clearing over the halfway line as the clock ticks past 20 minutes. Rafael Toloi lays it off to his right-hand side for Di Lorenzo. Di Lorenzo back for Bonucci. Bonucci taking a touch. And slows it right down to walking pace. But the ball has stopped before he just works it forward into the fit of Cristante in the midfield. Back it goes for Bonucci again. A little bit pedestrian at times on what's far from a searing hot night here in northern Italy. As James plays it back for Walker. Walker can get it back for Nick Pope. Pope has to get rid of it quickly with Raspadori bearing down on him. And had he really pressed with any conviction there, he might have been rewarded. And Nick Pope looks a little bit shaky with the ball in his fixture.
Jim, you're making me nervous. You really are. Your tonality of voice. It's fair to say you're absolutely spot on. The Italians have worked out, I think, that Nick isn't, the quickest at manoeuvring the ball. He's a big lad, and they're pressing him pretty well.
I think that was one of those moments where, as a football fan, you want to shout at the goalkeeper and let him know that someone is coming.
And make no mistake, you did.
And then you check yourself just in time when you realise that he's not going to hear you from here. The ball played for Bellingham. If you're driving, I do apologise. Here's Bellingham. I hope you didn't put the brakes on. Here's Bellingham. Back for Foden. Foden's 10 yards outside the penalty area, finding Harry Kane. England bring it forward again with Bellingham. But Italy keep a tight, regimented shape behind the ball. As James and Foden exchange passes, and then he goes back for Walker, and Walker again goes back inside his own half for Eric Dyer. Dyer, though, will play it forward, and then you're just changing the line of attack, but there's no real crispness or tempo about a lot of England's possession, as Stuart has been alluding to. Dyer's got it again now inside his own half of the centre circle.
There's times, Jim, if you're in a training practice, like if this was a training practice now, you would probably say, right, you're not allowed to play the ball backwards, you have to play it forwards, you have to get turned. And I think if England done that, unless it was absolutely critical that they could only go back at a certain time, it would improve the performance.
Walker forward towards Foden. Foden very cleverly turns, finds the space. Now Bellingham works it forward. And Reece James is on his bike. First time ball inside the area, not quite good enough to find Harry Kane. It was much better approach play from England, but Bonucci could sweep it away. Everything about the England move great until the final ball in.
I'm just watching a Serbi there that's gone in. The left side is centre half for Italy. He's gone in and pressed Foden. He doesn't actually realise, Foden, that if he gets turned, a Serbi has got no turning ability whatsoever. On the turn there, he looked absolutely awful, and unless you start turning with the ball and running at the opposition, you won't find out how bad they are.
Cherby, a player who is on loan here at Inter, a player playing on the left of the three centre-halves tonight, as he did on a couple of occasions in the Euros. He can play on the right as well, but he's well into his 30s. And this man in possession now, Bonucci even older, now at the age of 35. And he's played it forward over halfway into the feet of Cristante. Back for Bonucci again. Bonucci trying to ping it forward. Slightly awkward control from Maguire, who flicked it up with his right foot into his left shoulder. Bellingham then goes down, but Foden is played in, and Foden will turn and take a more direct route towards the edge of the penalty area. Slipping into his left-hand side for Raheem Sterling. Saka's very quickly on the scene, but Sterling's fouled his man, and it's a free kick on the corner of the penalty area, which the Italians will take. Foden, though, coming into the game more now.
Yeah, I've got to say, much better from Foden there. Got the ball run, the opposition had no alternative but to back off, and Sterling there, he's just not got into the game at the moment, Sterling. He's just been a bit short of moving the ball quickly as he can. You can see the look on his face there, the frustration's etched all over it.
0-0 between Italy and England. If you're just joining us, the England side tonight, Pope in goal, Walker, Dyer and Maguire, James, Bellingham, Rice and Saka, Foden, Kane and Sterling, the front three. Bonucci has the ball for the Italians. Just slipped it to his left for Cherby in luminous yellow boots. He's not the only one by any stretch of the imagination. I think the luminous yellow boots wholesaler has done good work in the Italian camp over the last few days, as Bonucci plays it forward again, out to Rafael Toloi, Di Lorenzo, then flighted over the top. You can see what Jorginho was trying to do, mix it up, but Scamacca had come short, wanted the ball into feet Scamacca, and so it was played horridly for him on the turn to try and get him in between Dyer and Maguire, and England as a result got possession back. It's Jude Bellingham, played forward towards Foden. Foden taking it on the half turn, just scooping it up in the air. Walker controls it, lays it down the touchline for James, who plays the way that he's facing, and then Pope and Eric Dyer almost at cross purposes, nearly left the ball for each other, and by proxy for Scamacca. Pope gets it away eventually. Rice nearly caught in possession, rode the challenge of Barella. Foden gets it from Bellingham's pass, and the teenager continues his run forward. Phil Foden plays a neat little 1-2 with Maguire, then looks for Saka, but England men's player of the year lost possession, and Cristante is going to be able to bring it forward inside the centre circle. And England have lost their shape defensively. In behind Saka, the space is whipped inside the area. Raspadori's control let him down, couldn't get into a shooting position. Bellingham was back to clear, but England just lost their shape defensively completely there. Saka has made his way forward, and there was a huge gap in behind him that Harry Maguire couldn't come out and fill, but the Italians couldn't make the most of it.
No, I think that Saka there lost the ball himself, and he was the one that had to really turn and sprint back. He didn't do that, and all of a sudden, as you rightly said, there was a gap appeared in the position he's supposed to be fulfilling.
Not a vintage England performance, but an improvement on the last one we saw without any fear of contradiction. England losing 2 of the 4 games that they played in the Nations League back in June, after an unbeaten run going into that of 22 matches. England, even though they led in 4 in that last game, have still only conceded 12 in the last 26 games.
I think what we've done, Jim, we've managed to build up, albeit a little bit slowly, and get the ball into Foden in this area just in front of us in the opposition's half and into Raheem Sterling. But those two individuals haven't been out of turn and take the game to the Italians from there. They've played safe, they've delivered the ball to feet, and they've gone backwards, and that, or lost the ball in Sterling's case on a couple of occasions.
Well, Raspadori has been fouled, and that's given the Italians another free kick. And everybody's back for England. And again, it's a line of 7 by no means equally spaced, but a line of 7 around the edge of the penalty area, and the ball is worked short to the right-hand side of the box, where Barella will then play it back for Di Marco. Di Marco to his left for Jorginho. Jorginho pointed at the goalkeeper. Everybody saw that was a bluff. He went and said to Di Marco, high swerving ball inside the penalty area, pulled back by Di Lorenzo, and Kane, who's still back defending inside his own box, has got it away and out for a throw, which the Italians take quickly over on their far touchline, the right.
Good defensive work there by Harry Kane. Read the play, read the cutback, and just intercepted and cleared.
Jorginho over the ball away from Foden, out to the Italian right, down by the corner flag. Harry Maguire has gone out to try and engage with Di Lorenzo. Played back by the right wing back all the way to Bonucci, but every outfield player is still in England territory. It's 0-0 with 28 minutes gone here on Talksport. Jim Bradford and Stuart Pearce talking through the action from the San Siro tonight, as the long ball from Cristante misses its intended target by about 10 yards. And he goes out of play for an England throw. So, sum up the opening half hour. What are the positives, what are the negatives, Stuart?
Well, for me, the big negative is we're not turning and playing forward. When we're getting players isolated one-on-one, I think we've got the beating of the opposition, and we're just not playing to our strengths and putting the Italians on the back foot. From a positive point of view, when we have done it on the odd occasion, the alarm bells have rung, but we've managed to let the Italians into the game and let them get a foothold in the game.
Di Marco wins the corner as he drives it in, it hits Reece James and goes out of play for the Italians' third corner, which will be taken on the left-hand side this time. The first two came on the right. Elsewhere in the Nations League, Gibraltar have equalised in Bulgaria. It's 1-1 there. Di Marco to take this corner, and Bonucci again making his way forward almost as an afterthought inside the England penalty area. It's Dyer that's trying to keep an eye on him, but the corner swung in from Di Marco, goes straight into the hands of Nick Pope. And Pope saw that Sterling was making an early run forward, didn't fancy his chances of being able to get it upfield Pickford-esque, and as a result it's a more measured build-up from the back once more. Nick Pope just playing it out towards Bellingham, who's dropped deep to get in the gap between Walker and Dyer, and England again exchanging passes at the back, go backwards into the feet of Pope again before Maguire will play it out towards Saka, and England struggling to deal with the Italians' press. Now Sterling might be able to turn, but he was fouled. That's a free kick 15 yards from halfway on the England left.
Yeah, we played out from the back, but it encouraged the Italian press. We managed to get through it, but when it come into Sterling, he was fouled. We've got to get turned in those positions. It's absolutely vital. Certainly on a pace-for-pace scenario, we've got far the better players, and those players need to get turned, face the opposition up, and go and take them on.
Defeat for England tonight would mean that they're relegated from League A down to League B. If that were to happen, it could be the Bosnians that take their place in League A. They'll be promoted if they win tonight from League B up into League A, and they lead Montenegro by a goal to nil. The other game in that group, Finland 1, Romania 0. The other game in this group, Germany 0, Hungary 1, which would see the Hungarians win the group. I don't know what price they were when the draw was made to win the group. They weren't favourites, let me tell you. I mean, it's not Leicester at 5,000 to 1, but it's a big story if Hungary win the group with England, Italy and Germany in it. And at the moment, that's what they're set to do, but still an hour to go in tonight's games. The Italians have the ball on the right-hand side with Rafael Toloi, back for Bonucci. Bonucci forward into the feet of Cristante. Jorginho just buys himself a yard of space, taking it away from Kane. Faced up by him again, he goes square to his right-hand side for Rafael Toloi. Toloi to Bonucci with the yellow captain's armband very visible around his left arm, and played forward through the midfield and deflected by the England backline straight back into the path of Jorginho. Jorginho into DiMarco, and then straight off Acerbi's left boot, and out of play for a throw that will be taken on the England right-hand side by Walker. 32 minutes gone, Italy 0, England 0. England back in action Monday nights live on Talksport as they meet Germany. Tuesday, Scotland against Ukraine again in the Nations League. Wednesday, WSL action, Chelsea against West Ham United, and then Friday it's Hull against Luton in the Championship. It's all coming your way on the TalkSport network over the course of the next week, and much more besides. I will tell you tomorrow and Sunday's action shortly. England in possession here in a ground that isn't sparse by any stretch of the imagination in terms of the attendance tonight, but by no means full, probably only about 60% full, something like that, and that's an eloquent summation of where the Italian public are with their national team at the moment. Rafael Toloi playing it forward, it's a return with a looping Maguire header. Now will take a touchdown just in front of Di Lorenzo, very nearly caught in possession. In fact, he has been by the industrious Sterling, who tried to lay it back, laid it behind Saka, but he was fouled in the process. So it's a free kick that England will take, 20 yards inside the Italian half and right over on the left-hand side. 11 to go to the break, and it's still 0-0 between the Azzurri and the Three Lions here on Talksport.
Yeah, but both teams have not convinced me about playing out from the back. Probably more so England have offered more question marks, you know, when it's gone back. They've just encouraged a press from the opposition. But the real critical one for me, Raheem's got to get into the game a little bit more. He's not had an impact in the game, and Phil certainly he's got to get.
Ball swept inside the penalty area from that free kick. It's half cleared out for Reece James. Miss it, right-footed shot from him. Did it take a deflection on its way through? No, it didn't. It's out of play for a goal kick.
Well, I'm not seeing that one at this moment in time. It looked like a big deflection off an Italian defender, and then Sterling's let the ball go. My goodness me, how they've got that one wrong, I don't know.
Yeah, hit Toloi on its way through and took a big kick off his boot. You saw the line of the flight of the ball, the way that it went up and then quickly dipped back down again, and it must have hit something. Can only think that the Spanish officials thought it hit another England player, because it was obvious that it had taken a deflection off somebody. Anyway, a goal kick given, and not what would have been England's first corner. The Italians will try and play out again with DiMarco. Kyle Walker stepped up from the defensive line. Good work from Foden, releasing Bellingham. Bellingham in turn to Harry Kane. Kane with space inside the penalty area. Can't beat Bonucci, but England do now get their first corner. We tend to go to half-time at 0-0.
Yeah, we almost, I wouldn't wish it on us, but we almost need to go 1-0 down. So we start taking chances, start turning, start taking people on, because there's a fear factor in the Italian lineup and a lack of pace certainly in their back line that suggests that if you do run at them, you're going to have a big problem.
So let's look at how England are setting up from this corner. They've got Rice inside the 6-yard box, hands on hips. They've got Raheem Sterling there, Eric Dyer making a run towards the near post. The two Harrys go towards the far post. It might break for Maguire after a touch. Foden trying to take it on. Clever first touch from him, edge of the area. Recycled wide for Reece James. Right-footed ball in, and it's driven away by DiMarco and out of play for another corner. And applause from both sets of supporters. Better from England, and another Reece James corner will follow.
Yeah, as I say, much better. Kept it alive really well there, Maguire. And ended up being a really good block by DiMarco.
So James preparing to take this corner again. Kane and Maguire stand near the penalty spot. Dyer once more with a near post run. Rice trying to flick it on in that area. Bellingham sends a bouncing bomb inside the boxes. It was half clear to the edge of the area, but he didn't get hold of it at all, and all he could do was hit it into the ground and straight into the hands of Donnarumma. Bellingham then dropped back in at centre half. He did really well as Italy looked to break quickly. Walker was out of position by necessity the way that he come forward for the set piece, so Bellingham just came in there. England have now got their shape back, but there was a good awareness from Bellingham. England haven't got the ball back, mind. The Italians have got it inside their own half with the Cherby forward for Di Marco. Hurried ball through the midfield. He's straight for Sterling. And he's got time and a little bit of space with which to work, and he's drilled the ball forward. I think intended for Foden. Kane controlled it, jumping up, took it on his chest, but then loses it. And Italy will try and bring it forward with Raspadori finding Scamacca. Now brought forward through the midfield by Barella. To Barella's left is Brian Cristante. Now Jorginho poking it into the feet of Raspadori. Just plays the way that he's facing. Back for Jorginho again. He's inside the centre circle as he lays it to his right for the most advanced of the centre halves, Rafael Toloi. Now comes back for Bonucci. 7 to go to the break at 0-0. Ball play for Maguire. Right-footed effort comes in from distance, out of nothing from Cristante, but it was blocked. And Walker, under pressure from Raspadori, can find Dyer, who will clear and work it forward. Look at the Harry Kane to chase, but Bonucci's dealt with him and actually nutmegged Kane, having brought it down. And Kane put his hands up out of exasperation, as Italy are going to be able to bring it forward again. Kane very nearly able to block that. In it comes from a Cherby to the edge of the England penalty area. James controls it, surveys his options, calmly goes back for his goalkeeper. Pope clears his lines, but Italy will be able to bring it down again with Di Marco. Cristante, an encouraging wave of applause from the Italian supporters. Cristante working into the feet of Raspadori, getting the return ball. He had to get rid of it very quickly as Kyle Walker put the pressure on. Now comes back from Toloi to Jorginho. Cristante into Raspadori on the stretch, couldn't control it. Foden goes back for Dyer for Walker, who gets it away towards halfway, but there are times when England's distribution from all areas is pretty scruffy. And that was another illustration of it. Italy had it back, 0-0.
Yeah, going back to the last England attack, Raheem Sterling picked the ball up. Great opportunity to drive at the heart of the Italian backline. And as you picked up in commentary, he played a ball which I'm not sure who it was for, but it hit Harry Kane on the chest at a hell of a velocity. It couldn't have been for Harry Kane.
Crowd here announced that just a shade over 50,640 tonight. Another goal in the Nations League. Bulgaria lead Gibraltar again, 2-1 now. And Jorginho has possession here at the San Siro, where it's still 0-0. Germany 0, Hungary 1 it remains in the other game in this group. Hungary winning the group tonight as things stand. Ball in from Cristante, knocked away by Eric Dyer. Brought down by Di Marco. Foden, though, capitalises on a poor first touch, and he's very adept at making sure that officials realise that there's been contact. Phil Foden, he did it again there, just given a little nudge by Cherby, and he was quickly on the deck. Free kick, which England will take 10 yards outside their own penalty area. Walker's tried to nick 5 or 6 yards, and the referee's not having that, so Walker just retreats. In fact, the referee is now overcompensating, and he's made him go further back, much further back than where the infringement actually happened. Walker, is he going to lead this for Eric Dyer to take? As 2 or 3 runs up towards the ball. Now he addresses it and does drive it. Forward over halfway. Kane able to flick it on away from Bonucci. Sterling making a run in behind him. Back for Kane. Foden ever willing to push forward on the right-hand side. And he's laid it back for Kane. Now to Reece James. James on the right-hand side of the penalty area. Can't get himself into a position to cross. But James checks back and finds Walker again. Walker back to James. The idea was right. James didn't quite read it instantly. And the weight on the pass demanded that he was there in the blink of an eye. It beat him to the dead ball line. Goes out of play for a goal kick that Donnarumma will take. And another half-promising England move comes to nothing. It's 0-0 with 4 to go to half-time.
Yes, I don't mind that so much, because every pass that we played just then was a forward pass that was asking questions of the Italians, or a forward run with the ball at the feet. And, you know, it was just a little bit fortunate Reece James was coming back to readjust his position when the ball was played. Otherwise, for me, correct ball.
Just the 1 goal for England in the opening 4 games of this tournament. Is it going to be 1 goal in 9 halves of Nation League football. It's looking that way at the moment as the Italians bring it forward and they lose possession, and the turnover in the midfield will give England the opportunity to break. 3 against 4. Kane fires one in, but over the bar. And Donnarumma doesn't have a save to make. He had Saka sprinting to his left, he had Foden to his right, he took it on himself, got towards the edge of the D, and hit a rising drive over the top right-hand corner.
Yeah, you could see when England do turn the ball over and they break, the Italian back line has to back off. They've not got the pace to deal with the English front line, and we need to make sure we play our strongest card every time.
Here's Bellingham, picking it up in the midfield and then winning a free kick. It looks as though possession might have got away from him, but Di Lorenzo's fouled him. Jude Bellingham's performance in the opening 40 minutes, Stu?
Steady. I will put it down as steady. There's not too many in an England shirt that you would say, yes, there's a standout performance there. I think he's steady in what he's doing. Sometimes I think, well, certainly in this game at the moment, we've got to play with a bit more devilment in our game rather than being too safe. Being too safe is drawing the Italians onto us.
Well, set pieces have often been a profitable avenue for England. What will this one bring? Foden sweeping it in. It's Declan Rice that's attacking it. I think Bonucci was there first. The referee says it was a push. And it's a free kick to Italy inside their penalty area.
I think the referee is making an attempt at giving the most fouls in a match. I mean, anyone who hits the deck from both teams. I'm not being England-centric here when I suggest there's been a lot of fouls from both sides where literally nothing in it whatsoever. It's incredible, some of these decisions.
Yeah, he's been consistent.
He's been that, Jim.
You can certainly give him that. So the first time that he's refereed England since the home defeat to Denmark a couple of years ago. This is a competition. I know England got to the final 4, the first inception of the Nations League, but it has been a competition where England have struggled. That can best be seen Harry Kane's extraordinary goal-scoring record for England in every other form of the game other than the Nations League, where it's only got 2 in 16 games. One of those was the last goal that England scored, a penalty in Munich. Di Marco making his way forward for the Italians. Just got a touch that's gone over the line and out of play for a goal kick. He was claiming that he was pulled back or that it took a deflection off Walker, but the referee didn't see either of those. And it's a goal kick that Pope will take, and we're going to be in the last few seconds of the first half that I don't think is going to see any time added on.
That last passage of play summed the first half up for us. There was about 3 or 4 passes, everyone coming to the ball and coming to their own goal. No one looking to spin the opposition in behind. And if we keep doing that, the Italians will come on, they'll enjoy the evening's work.
Pope gets it away. High ball forward towards Kane. Wins the flick on again. Bonucci leaning back, gets his ample forehead to it to steer it behind him towards Donnarumma. And Donnarumma may well have the last touch of the first half here as Jesus Hill Manzala puts the whistle to his mouth. Well, 0-0 at half-time. You've got to say that as 45 minutes of England football goes, it wasn't vintage, but it was a lot better than the last 45 minutes that we saw. But that Molyneux malaise maybe just taking a little bit of time to get out of the system. England far from their best. It's a team that many people wanted to see in terms of personnel and formation as well, but England know that there's still room for improvement. Half-time at the San Siro is Italy 0, England 0. Adrian, thank you. No changes in personnel for England. Stu and I, during the half-time interval, looking at the heat maps of Phil Foden and Raheem Sterling. Stuart, notoriously difficult to be able to try and describe a heat map on the radio, but let's look at Phil Foden. He's picked up possession in very deep areas, you were saying, often just outside his own penalty area. What do we need to see more of from Foden? What do we need to see more of from Sterling in the second half?
Well, I think from Phil's point of view, when Phil comes to receive the ball, he's coming very flat on with a big central defender behind him. He's got to loosen himself up, maybe on occasion to come side on to receive side on, which is how you coach players to receive the ball, to know what's behind him. Or alternatively, come short to spin him behind without the ball. And I think that will cause the odd problem. I think Raheem's been very wasteful in some of the obviously his heat map shows him in more advanced areas, but I think he's been a little bit wasteful when he has received the ball, and those two individuals might hold the key to this game being slightly easier for us. And I said to you at half time, I would have probably made a change with Raheem. I think I would have took Raheem off, put Luke Shaw on as left wing back and moved Saka further up the pitch, and as I speak, Raheem Sterling has just lost the ball again.
We are back underway. It's the same respective 11s representing Italy and England 0-0 at the start of this second half. I'll run through the two teams for you in a moment, but in this second half, Italy in their all blue, kicking from left to right, send a long ball for which Reece James heads away on the edge of the England penalty area, and then Eric Dyer on his return to the England team just steps up from the defensive line, gets it away, breaks back his way, and he tries to hit a measured side-footed ball down towards the left-hand touchline. But England have lost possession. So England lining up: Pope in goal, Walker, Dyer, Maguire, James, Bellingham, Rice and Saka, Foden, Kane and Sterling. Italy: Donnarumma in goal, Toloi, Bonucci, Acerbi, Di Lorenzo, Barella, Jorginho, Cristante, Di Marco, and then Scamacca and Raspadori are the front two. Balls in the hands of Di Lorenzo, Giovanni Di Lorenzo of Napoli, who got a couple of goals for his country last season. He's taken the throw from it. There's a big switch of play out towards Di Marco. Decent ball inside the area. Cristante chasing furiously. He didn't quite get there in time. Eric Dyer knocked it away, and Cristante's momentum took him into the goal mouth, where he beat the bar with the palm of his hand in frustration. England have turned over possession and can work it forward, and the counter-attack is on. 3 against 3 for a moment. Sterling taking them all on. Bonucci's tackled him edge of the area, but caught him in the process. Yellow card for Bonucci, and a free kick about 3 yards outside the penalty area for England.
Well, two recommendations there. One at one end of the pitch, Dyer done extremely well in getting across and covering the edge of his 6-yard box. And well done, Raheem Sterling. Picked the ball up, drove distances. You can see the fear in the Italian players as he drove at them. And in the end, we've got a free kick, probably about 1 metre, 2 metres from the edge of the box. A great opportunity for potentially Harry Kane or Reece James setting the ball up potentially. Really good opportunity for a right footer from here.
So Bonucci's in the book, the first yellow card of the night, and this is a great opportunity. Reece James with no element of disguise as the player that is going to be taking this, but does have options to work it short, maybe to Sterling to his left, maybe to Saka to his right. But it's been lined up for a James shot at the moment. 4 in the Italian wall, and they've got Barella lying down behind it. They've also got Foden just in a little bit of space, right-hand side of the area. James fires it in, way over the bar. And that's a really good situation for England that's been squandered.
I've got to say, at this standard of football, you 2 yards out, perfectly set up for a right footer there, you've got to be hitting the target. You really have. Great opportunity. I was a little bit surprised that it wasn't Harry Kane.
So England still struggling to create worthwhile chances against an Italian side who've only kept 1 clean sheet in their last 7 games, and that was against England at Molineux back in June. And England have it a little bit more purposeful at the start of this second half. Rice for Maguire, turned forward towards Bellingham. Scamacca comes back to win it back. He's poked it back towards his own centre-halves, and Acerbi now will get his foot on the ball and chip it forward for the run of Di Marco down the left-hand side. Kyle Walker comes across, and, well, the referee hasn't given a foul. Contact between 2 players. Play on. Hold the back page.
That will never catch on, I don't think.
England have it again. I think it was the right decision, but in the context of the way that he's officiated the game, it's inconsistent, because he's blown it for everything. Now Kane has done really well, and he's won it back from Rafael Toloi, and he's making his way forward towards the edge of the penalty area, and still he goes, taking on Bonucci, wins the corner. Bonucci with the block at the near post. Foden and Sterling have both made their way inside the 6-yard box, but Bonucci made sure it didn't get there. It's out of play for England's first quarter of the second half.
Well, Toloi tried to bring it down on the halfway line, and Harry Kane took it off him, and his recovery run was like a man towing a fridge, I've got to say. and that was trying to track Harry Kane down, let alone tracking the likes of one of our speed merchants in our team, and they really are leggy when it comes to being run at or being run away from.
Reece James is going to take this corner for England. It's their third of the game. The first on either side of one in the second half. 6 forward, 3 inside the 6-yard box. Kane and Maguire from the penalty spot making their runs. Fired in very deep. Kane going up for it. Was he given a shove to the ground? The referee says no. Kane still lying face down on the turf inside the penalty area. I think the defender was Toloi. Play's going to restart with a goal kick, and Kane hasn't moved yet.
Flailing on potentially. We're just waiting for a replay on that one. I certainly didn't see too much myself, but he's called the physio's on for a head injury.
And he's still lying face down on the turf. Now he's just been rolled up onto his hip, but there are recriminations going on inside that penalty area. Foden and Dyer and Rice are all in there. 5 Italian players there as well. Just seeing a replay, and Kane going to head the ball and has ended up with his head going into the face of Toloi, who also has tried to head the ball but was watching Kane rather than the ball, and it certainly would have hurt.
Yeah, it certainly would. A clash of heads. I don't think there was anything in it in regard to a free kick or a penalty, but certainly a clash of heads, and both players trying to get on the end of things.
Okay, time for both managers to take further stock to what we've seen in the opening 7 minutes of the second half, and there are substitutes warming up. You talked a few minutes ago about potentially the Shaw for Sterling might be a change, and moving Saka into a more advanced position. Anything else?
That would probably be the first one for me, I've got to say, putting a more naturalised left wing back on the pitch. That would enable probably Foden to come and play on this left hand side of the pitch where I think he prefers playing, and then from there Saka can come and play on the right hand side of the pitch. But whatever we do formation wise, it's almost a psychological effect where we've got to receive the ball, get turned and run, because we've just seen the likes of Toloi on a recovery run, which was woeful. Serbi as well on his recovery run. To be fair to Bonucci, he plays in the middle and he plays with his head, but certainly at the age that he's at the moment, all 3 of them would struggle with pace in and around them.
Well, Kane's okay. He's going to be able to continue. They had to go through the concussion protocol, of course, just to make sure that he was all right. Tammy Abraham was sent out to warm up. The England medical staff have attracted the referee's attention to the fact that Kane is in a position to come back on. He's got to come back on from the touchline rather than from behind the dead ball line, and still he hasn't been given that permission to re-enter the field of play. Play has restarted, and Italy have it near the edge of the England box, and it's over on the Italian left, and Kane still hasn't been given permission to come back on, and the England staff are saying to the 4th official, what's the problem? Why won't you let him come back on? Jorginho has it. Jorginho's gone back for Toloi, and Toloi to Barella. Has the referee forgotten that Harry Kane has gone off? A high ball swept in. DeMarco will chase it, goes into the hands of Nick Pope, or is there a little bit of evidence of a little bit of blood? Maybe. And so the 4th official has said, no, you can't come on until that has been sorted out. I think it is that, in fairness.
I don't think it is, Jim. Honestly, I just think he's been pig-headed and stubborn, to be quite honest with you. This is just ridiculous.
We're still not on. Pope will drive it forward, so England temporarily down to 10. Bellingham's done well, wins the ball back in the midfield, feeds Foden to his right hand side. Foden takes it on, pirouettes away on the corner of the penalty area. It's laid back for James to Rice. Rice's ball down slightly behind Bukayo Saka, but he can feed Harry Maguire now, and Maguire working it back for Kyle Walker in the midfield, and Harry Kane still isn't on. There might have been a slight issue. He's got some tissue or the equivalent in his right hand, so maybe there is just a little bit of evidence of blood, but he's still saying to the 4th official, come on, you've got to let me on. And he still isn't on the field, Harry Kane.
Jim, at this stage he could have had major surgery the time he's been off the pitch. Now the referee's running over to Harry Kane, and
he's walked up, so the referee has run over to the near touchline, and he said to the England medical staff, can he come on? And they've gone, yeah. Oh, okay, on you come then. What's the point of having a fourth official? What is he there for if those conversations aren't conducted through him? Anyway, I digress. Play goes on. Scamacca. England back to 11. Scamacca towards the edge of the penalty area. Raspadori tried to take it on, couldn't tiptoe his way through, and then Sterling lays it back for Maguire, who just hoiks it clear. First bounce on the edge of the centre circle into Italian territory, where Acerbi's control is less than exquisite, but good enough with a 10-yard advantage ahead of Foden to be able to get it back for Donnarumma. Donnarumma, who was playing first-team football here at the San Siro, is a 16-year-old for Milan. Made his international debut as a 17-year-old. He's not too far short of 50 caps for his country now, and he's still only 23. He could end up beating Buffon's record potentially. Here's Bonucci. Bonucci drives it forward. Scamacca wanted the ball in defeat, but Raspadori made a good run in behind him, and they played in DiMarco. DiMarco square, and Barella, who's offside, has slid it wide. He'll be very relieved to get back up and see the flags up there to spare his blushes. England were carved apart.
Yeah, they certainly were very loose at the back there, and to be honest, I think the linesman got that one spot on. The initial first pass, not the last one before the finish. Yes, yeah, just looking at the replay of that, just caught offside, but they would have liked to have put it in the net and asked the question afterwards, I'm sure.
Yeah, it was DiMarco making his way forward from left wing back that had just gone too early. Not much in it. It's 0-0. England sloppily give possession away. DiMarco goes down off the ball. Collision, I think it was with Reece James, and then there's a coming together, and then Foden is getting involved, and one of the Italians has come away with the ball, and they were squaring up to each other, and Foden and Acerbi still chirping away from distance. DiMarco is still down over on the far touchline, and James leans over him and helps him back to his feet, and the referee is in danger of just letting the tension and tempers come a little bit too much to the boil here.
I mean, he picked up on every little decision and every coming together and anyone falling on the floor. He picked up on it. Now all of a sudden he seems to have got a little bit loose with it, and it really is. It stinks of an individual who's lost a little bit of control of this game.
It's almost like he's come off the field at half-time, said to the assessor, "What do you think? Am I doing all right?" You're a bit whistle happy, and then he's completely overcompensating in this second half. Anyway, it's 0-0. Maguire playing at 4-4 England into the feet of Sterling. Saka is able to take it on, but can't make too much headway, and then it's well defended by Di Lorenzo. Played it off Saka, and it's out of play for an Italian throw on this near side. This an Italian side who've only lost 4 of their last 48 games, but in no kind of form. 4 wins in 16 after that tremendous run, which had most of the Euros behind it, of 13 straight wins. Here's Bellingham towards the edge of the area, releasing Foden, left-hand side of the box, flags up against him. Cross in towards Kane, but the flag long since up against Foden, and it's a free kick on the edge of the box to Italy, and we're approaching the hour mark with the deadlock still intact at 0-0.
I've got to say, Jim, I'm not sure that was a correct decision. It was very, very tight.
Nor was Foden, I think it's fair to say, who is a very good judge. Well, even seeing the replay, I'm not sure. Bonucci may have played him on. Anyway, academic, cross didn't find its man, and the flag was up. Italy take the free kick. The last 4 meetings of these two nations have all ended in draws. England have only beaten Italy 8 times in 29 attempts. Last in a friendly in Switzerland 10 years ago. They've not won against Italy on Italian soil for 61 years since 61. Jimmy Greaves got the winner in Rome in a 3-2 victory. Better from England now, bringing it forward. Bellingham out towards Kane, right inside of the area. Saka making a run in towards the edge of the 6-yard box. He was well defended. Saloy came back. He very nearly came close to putting through his own net, but he steered it wide of the post and out of play for a corner. But that was better from England, breaking forward, more intent, bit more pace, more numbers getting inside the penalty area, and problems for that Italian back line.
Yeah, as I say, better on that occasion when it was played forward to Foden, he set it off round the corner, which enabled the team to get turned, and obviously central defenders facing their own goal.
5 in the penalty area to attack this latest corner, which is swung in very deep, headed down by Maguire. Bellingham takes it on. It's an opportunity for Eric Dyer, chests it down, and it's gone over the bar. And the England medical staff are being waved on again as the tumble inside the penalty area. It's Jude Bellingham is the man that has gone down. He's tried to control it, taking it on. One of the Italians almost made a back for him on the edge of the penalty area, and Bellingham has taken a huge fall. He's headed it into the penalty area, and Barella has stood on the edge of the box and has gone on the half turn, and Bellingham's gone over the top of him and gone down. Stu?
Well, all I can say is he'll probably ask Bellingham to leave the pitch and be off for another 10 minutes like Harry Kane, but it would be fair to say, with the way he's refereed the game, if that was anywhere near the halfway line or non-critical area where he might have had to give a penalty, I think a decision would have been made that was a free kick.
I think the contact was outside the box, in fairness, a free kick rather than a penalty, but it did look like the foul. Barella made no attempt whatsoever to play the ball. It's still 0-0, and it's still Germany 0, Hungary 1. Bulgaria now fall up at home to Gibraltar. They're down in League C, but Hungary getting ever closer with that first half goal from Adam Shalai. On 17 minutes they lead the group by 4 points. Not only are they destined to win the group with a game to spare, but still a long half an hour to go. England in action against Germany at Wembley on Monday. We've got it live on Talksport, and more action coming up for you over the course of the weekend. Tomorrow, the WSL, the North London derby, Arsenal Spurs with Joe Shannon and Courtney Sweetman-Kirk. That's at 1:30 here on Talksport. 3 o'clock on Talksport 2, League One action from Sheffield Wednesday against Wycombe. And then Sunday, also on Talksport 2, Plymouth-Ipswich kicks off at 12:30, and WSL action on Talksport as Chelsea take on Manchester City. So Scamacca has come off, and he's replaced by Leeds United's Wilfried Gnonto. And the other change that they're going to be making, the double change being made just past the hour mark, is going to see Pobega come on for Barella in the midfield. So a double change for Italy. England still keeping their powder dry. Bellingham has received his treatment, and he's going to be allowed back on in a moment.
I saw that incident again, and to be fair, I don't think there was a free kick in there. I've got to say credit to the referee.
Italy bring the ball forward. Chance for Wilfried Gnonto to share a pitch with a man that he unashamedly describes as his hero, Raheem Sterling. Gnonto has only started 16 league games in his career. The Leeds United man who was signed from Zurich, and he's in possession now. His country's youngest ever goal scorer, laying it off for Jorginho. Down it comes to his right-hand side for Toloi. And then Cristante can take the ball on the half-turn, and Maguire has lent him to Di Lorenzo. Stopped him making a run down the right-hand side of the area at the expense of a free kick, in a decent position for the Azzurri here. It's level the edge of the box effectively, and a couple of yards away from the right-hand side of the penalty area. And a game that increasingly feels as though it could be decided by a set piece. One goal might win it. It's 0-0 with 20 goal in the second half.
Yeah, and we're just demonstrating there what it's like to get a big centre-half on the half-turn and spin outside him, and certainly it's a poor place to give a free kick away. Just on this right-hand side of the box, near the point of the box, probably an extra 3 metres further out towards the touchline.
Di Marco with a left-footed in-swinger potentially. Yes, it is. Left-footed in from him. An acrobatic clearance was effective enough from Kyle Walker. Diving header which went high up in the air. Oh, lovely little back heel nutmeg. Now it's worked across the edge of the penalty area from Raspadori, looking for Bonucci at the near post, who indicates that he really wanted it drilled in low across the ground into that area. It was cleared by the England back line, and out for the Italians' first corner of the second half.
Yeah, I've got to say that That clearance from Cole Walker was absolutely outstanding. Really difficult one. If he lets that go, it's going in the far corner.
In comes the corner in towards the near post. A flick from Di Lorenzo could have caused problems. Back in from Lonto. It hits Kane, spins high up in the air, and bounces on the dead ball line and goes out of play for another corner. That was another crucial defensive intervention. That's out from the skipper.
That is a fantastic defensive header. I mean, you know, on two occasions there, players looking to get their head on balls flashed across the face of the goal with a fair strong element of violence on it.
65 gone. Italy 0, England 0, says the huge scoreboard suspended above the stand over on the far touchline here at the San Siro. Before the corner is taken, the referee just wants a word with some of the protagonists in the pushing and shoving that's going on. Bonucci is involved and Eric Dyer is involved as well. And the referee's had a word, and now it, needless to say, continues. In comes the corner, swung in, Pope maybe could have caught it, but punches it clear with his left hand towards the edge of the penalty area. Italians trying to work it in the next phase of play. Lonto can't make anything happen. England with a free kick as Bellingham's fouled just outside his own penalty area. Free kick that Kane wanted to take quickly, but two Italian players stopped that happening. Raspadori just stepping right in front of the ball. And it was clever play from him, to be fair, because a quick free kick from England there might have got Foden making a run in behind the Italian back line. And Italy, as a result, have their 3-5-2 shape very much firmly back behind the ball when the free kick is taken. Into the feet of Rice, back for Walker. Just approaching the midway stage of the second half. England still haven't scored a goal from open play in the Nations League. Ball play forward by Walker, straight out of play for a throw. It'll be taken over on the Italian left-hand side. 0-0. It's not the tough watch that Hungary at home was, but signs of encouragement, the opportunities to provide fulsome praise are few and far between, really. There's Bonucci on the edge of his own penalty area. England contemplating substitutions, I think, now. This ball's played forward towards Di Marco, and Di Marco will go all the way back for his goalkeeper Donnarumma again.
Yeah, a little frustration of mine here. I think the Italians, when they've got players up pressing us and they've sniffed blood, they've gone after us a little bit more aggressively than we have. I think we've had a really good shape to press, gone up, but not really done that last part of it.
A ball over the top of Walker, brilliantly brought down by Raspadori on the edge of the penalty area. Opens up the angle, right-footed shot into the bottom right-hand corner, and Italy lead England by a goal to nil. It's an Italian side described by their country's journalists as the worst in living memory. They're without 13, but they lead England with just over 20 minutes to go. And he's the danger man, Giacomo Raspadori. Long ball over the top, he's brought it down beautifully. He's opened up the angle, the finish is crisp, and England have problems, and they're facing Nations League relegation.
Well, it was a straight, long ball over the top of the back line. I've got to say, he's taken it down beautifully. But once we've got recovery positions intact, and I think it was Cole Walker, should have done a lot better there, just to reassess it and just deal with the danger. He's going away from goal, we let him turn, and he delivers an incredible finish into the far corner. So just a straight, long ball over the top. The control is what made the goal. And then when he's going away from goal, Cole Walker's let him come back inside and unload an incredible shot.
4 goals and 7 starts for his country. Giacomo Raspadori got a couple against Turkey in March and is on the score sheet here with 68 on the clock. It's Italy 1, England 0. And now a test of England's mettle, a test of their resolve. A draw tonight doesn't see them relegated, but they would have to beat Germany and hope. As things stand at the moment, they are going to be relegated down to League B of the Nations League. It would have ramifications. Declan Rice down to the left-hand side for Maguire. Maguire into the feet of Saka. Saka under pressure from Di Lorenzo, plays it back for Maguire again. England going to be making at least one change in a moment. Jack Grealish is being ready.
And Shaw as well.
And Shaw as well, as you say. So we might see Saka move into a more advanced position, or potentially Shaw coming on for Saka. We'll find out in a moment. Firm challenge over on the far touchline sees one of the Italian substitutes, Pabega, bring down Kyle Walker. So England will make the changes now, and it's Shaw for Saka is the first change, and that's a straight swap at left wing back. I wonder who's going to get the hook for Jack Grealish. And Saka coming over towards this near touchline. His number did come up, but are they saying they want to defend the set piece first before the change is made?
I think it's more likely to be Foden and Sterling, who've not had the impact that I was hoping.
So it could be a change of heart then. In comes the free kick from James, and climbing high, Harry Dyer can only head it over the bar. And a set piece that never really showed any sign of coming to anything. And it goes out of play for a goal kick that'll be taken away to our left-hand side. So the change is going to be made, and again the number 7 has come up, so it is Saka coming off. So Shaw for Saka is the first change. That now becomes Grealish for Saka. Well, the officials have been in great form tonight. And Shaw is going to be coming on in a moment as well. And who's he going on for? Walker. So Walker and Saka off, and Shaw and Grealish on.
Yeah, just going to a 4 now, changing the formation. Grealish coming out on the left-hand side, Sterling just playing behind Kane by the looks of things. Foden on the right-hand side.
20 minutes for England to get themselves back on level terms and avoid relegation from the Nations League for now, although they'd still have plenty of work to do on Monday. But as things stand, they're going down at the moment with only 1 goal in the opening 5 games. 1 goal and 2 points in the first 5 games of the campaign is how things are looking right now. It's Bonucci's crossfield ball. Pabega volleys it back to his goalkeeper, where it's brought under control on the edge of the 6-yard box by Donnarumma. He'll take a touch and then just chip it out towards the far touchline for DiMarco. Heads go up for it, brought back down by James over on that far side. Bellingham is involved and knocks it back into space. Grealish's first contribution is to win a ball ahead of Cristante. It's probably caught. He did well to, on the way down, flick it back for Maguire. And now to be played forward through the midfield into the feet of Bellingham. So England with a back 3 to start the game, and they've not got a good record when they've started games with a back 3 as opposed to a back 4, which I'll detail in a moment. But they have the quartet at the back now, as Di Lorenzo will be able to play it forward. Jorginho to Cristante, Cristante to Toloi, and he'll go back to his keeper. The last 20 games that England have played with a back 3 as Donnarumma's very nearly caught in possession there by Harry Kane. Wanted 1 touch too many, and Kane read it, nearly dispossessed him on the edge of the penalty area, but Donnarumma got away with it. The last 20 games England have played with a back 3, 10 wins, 7 defeats. And when they play with the back 4 over the last 23 games, it's 18 wins and 1 defeat. So 7 of England's last 8 defeats coming with a back 3, and that'll be 8 in 9 if they can't find an equaliser in the next 20 minutes or so. Italians with a free kick in the midfield, lay back for Bonucci, and Bonucci will go back for Donnarumma again. Donnarumma clearing it towards halfway. 4-2-3-1 now for England. Dyer coming to meet the ball. Raspadori just moved under the flight of it. Monto going down but no foul. And then Maguire turns it through the midfield towards Reece James. James over towards the left-hand side of the pitch when he laid it off for Luke Shaw. Shaw's ball forward. Kane knew he was retreating from an offside position. Grealish makes a run in past him chasing the ball, but Rafael Toloi can mop up. Lay it back for his goalkeeper Donnarumma. Donnarumma down towards Cristante, who's trying to get the better of Declan Rice and wins the throw off Rice, and it's put in which will be taken in no huge hurry by the Italians on this near touchline there. Right, 16 to go, Italy 1, England 0. Stuart Pearce.
Yeah, I think an element of the game that certainly needs improving, our pressing from the front. I think we're getting numbers towards the ball, but we're not really going with an injection of pace that really says I'm going to put you under pressure, and it's enabling the Italians to play out a little bit too easily.
Pope a little tardy in getting the ball out from underneath his feet on the edge of the penalty area. Now sweeps it down away from Maguire, and Shaw backpedaling.
There's the contrast. There's the contrast in pressing. The Italians have gone with a little bit more aggression in it, and Nick Pope's looking and thinking, I've not got much on.
Cristante can't find Nonto, and it goes back through for Pope again. Pope didn't have much on, just tried to play down towards the left-hand side. Missed Maguire, couldn't find Shaw. And it goes out of play for a throw. Foden coming to meet the ball. Nothing's come off really for England. They've had 2 or 3 promising attacks. They haven't forced Donnarumma into a difficult save over the course of the night. And a match which could have gone either way is heading away from the 3 lines now. Bellingham. Play forward through the midfield. Kane with a little layoff. That's better from England. Foden's got Grealish making a run ahead of him. Drilled forward. Grealish controlled it. His first touch took him back, but he's able to find Shaw. Shaw driving it across the edge of the 6-yard box. It was cleared for Declan Rice. Rice setting up Bellingham. Bellingham to his right-hand side. Kane could save Donnarumma. Back in from Kane. Another smart stop from Donnarumma at his near post. Cleared out for James. Kane gets another crack at it. Right-hand side of the area. Ball away from DiMarco. Jorginho stopped it being a perceptive cross, and DiMarco will be able to clear. Only as far as Rice. Taken on again by Foden. Foden looked third favourite but got there. Shaw laying it back. And now Maguire. Falling to the feet of Raheem Sterling, taking it on. Still Sterling goes, edge of the penalty area. He's gone down, no foul. The referee certainly got that right. Italy trying to bring it away, give it away. Grealish with a clever touch gets it away from Raspadori, the Italian goal scorer. 9 minutes ago the Italians took the lead. England beginning to ask a few questions. James down towards the corner flag. Can he get a cross in? He's got support. Play back from Foden. Foden to Bellingham. Italy sitting deeper and deeper. Bellingham can't get into a shooting position, but he can find Shaw, who scored against the Italians in the final. Rice checks one way and then the other to get away from Nonto. Back it goes to Maguire. Maguire works it out of the England right for James. James in off the right-hand touchline, in towards Grealish. Grealish just well marshalled by Bonucci. A little shove, but no complaints from Grealish, who went to ground. Donnarumma ends up with the ball in his hands. Better from England, but still not the potency required. 1-0 Italy lead with 12 to go.
When you say much better from England, it was much better because the tempo of the way we played the game, the pace that we moved the ball was that much better, and it caused Italy a problem.
Rice heads a long throw from Donnarumma away, but it's returned by the other number 4 on the pitch, Rafael Toloi. Bellingham brings it down, eases it back for Declan Rice. Rice's ball in behind Maguire. Pope says that he'll come out and take responsibility for that, but shanks a left-footed clearance straight out of play. It's a throw which will be taken on the Italian right. The goal from Raspadori, only the second that Pope has conceded in 679 minutes in an England shirt. 8 caps before tonight, 6 clean sheets. Ball headed down by James. Will be taken on by Phil Foden on the right-hand touchline. Acerbi goes out there, and that creates a bit of space inside. Sterling for Bellingham. England have looked much better since switching to a back 4. Rice in there strongly, but the referee has penalised Bellingham for an earlier challenge about 10 yards upfield. Jorginho was fouled. Free kick to Italy. 11 to go. 1-0. The Italians lead.
Yeah, I mean, the good thing from England's point of view, I think we raised the tempo of the way we played. Going back probably a year or so, when you look, when England play their best football, they play at a tempo that the opposition cannot deal with, and I think we have to get back to that a little bit. We've played at a lower tempo, and that suits the opposition.
Di Lorenzo on halfway. Toloi will play it forward. Maguire takes it on and then flicks it on again. Finds Harry Kane. Grealish bustling towards the edge of the penalty area. Challenge came in on him. Second one was very firm. Referee waited to see if there was an advantage. There wasn't. A yellow card shown to Di Lorenzo for the challenge, and it's an England free kick. 12 yards from the dead ball line and 3 yards outside the penalty area, left of centre. Kind of opportunity on which England have thrived in the past. What they give for a set-piece equaliser here.
Yeah, good opportunity to whip the ball in. I've been a little bit disappointed with some of the delivery from both teams tonight, I've got to say, free kicks on the edge of the box and opportunities to put good balls into the box that have been turned down, I think.
So Giovanni Di Lorenzo is booked. Italy will make another change, and it's the one-time Southampton striker Manuel Gabbiadini who is going to be coming on. And is it Raspadori, I think, that's making way. And he leaves the field as the potential match winner, and Gabbiadini is on.
I've got to say, Gabbiadini looks eerily like Deck, our producer.
Poor him. In comes the free kick, beaten away by James, or from James's delivery by Donnarumma. Shaw mops up. He's got a better tan though. Back for Bellingham. Bellingham to Shaw. Shaw inside the centre circle. It was just Gabbiadini just had a little nibble at him. And the ball comes down for Jack Grealish on the left, and then he's kicked again by a combination this time of Cristante and Monto, and the referee comes across with his hands out, just trying to calm the pair of them down. I think we'll have a free kick that they'll take by Jack Grealish right in front of the Italian technical area. Gabbiadini's been way out of the international picture for a while. He's been recalled after an absence of nearly 5 years. Last played in an infamous Italian defeat to Sweden in the World Cup playoffs back in 2017. He hasn't started a single Serie A match this season, but he's got in minutes for his country, and that just shows the depth of problems really that Italy are suffering with. But they lead this by a goal to nil. Maguire with a reverse ball into space for Rice. Shaw to Kane. Last 10 minutes have been best period of the game for England, but still can't find an equaliser. Bonucci with a crossfield ball that didn't find Gabbiadini. Taken on by Pobega. He's back on his feet after the initial challenge from Dyer, but Reece James can bring it away before Pobega could do anything with it. Sterling will turn on halfway under a little bit of pressure from Acerbi. 40 goes in towards Grealish's feet again. Grealish for Bellingham. The two Brummies combining. Now Reece James has it. 7.5 to go. England trail 1-0. Is it going to be a third defeat of 5 Nations League games and relegation? We'll know in the next 10 minutes or so. Grealish again put under pressure from the man in behind. It was Cristante. Just complaining, Cristante, that it wasn't a unanimous press from his teammates now. England are able to make ground once more into Italian territory. Grealish, he got involved off the ball with Cristante. Jude Bellingham's got it. Bellingham 25 yards out, twists and turns and gets it on his left foot, but screws the shot wide of the near post, and it goes out of play for a goal kick to Italy, and they'll be in the 84th minute by the time they take it. 1-0 after that Raspadori goal.
Yeah, I think we're playing with a slightly better tempo now, which I would wish we'd have played from probably the offset of the game with, and asking more questions, getting turned a little bit quicker and going forward a touch more.
Easy to say now. Why weren't England able to play at this tempo? Is it just the desperation, the match scenario? They find themselves staring down the barrel of relegation. It concentrates the minds.
I just think sometimes you come away from home and you think, I tell you what we'll do, we'll build up gently from the back and we'll pass it around, keep possession, kill the tempo of the game. And I think the tempo of the game is our strongest card at times, Jim.
Donnarumma takes the goal kick. Going up for it, Eric Dyer. Bounces down awkwardly in front of Nonto. Rice can poke it forward. Bellingham claiming he's fouled. Gabbiadini is in now. Could be offside, but he'll get a shot in which Nick Pope can get away. No flag up. Now it's clear towards the edge of the area. Cristante back for Gabbiadini again. Di Marco rifles it across the face of goal. It's come back on the post as Di Lorenzo slides it in the far post. Can't get a touch to turn it over the line. Back from Nonto down towards Toloi. England inches away from being 2-0 down.
Well, incredible phase of play there. England under big pressure. Pope stopping the first one with his feet from Gabbiadini, who took a lifetime to get his finish away, and then the cross shot. It almost looked as though Pope had let it go, to be fair, but it cannoned off the post and come out.
Inches away from hitting the inside of the post and going in, or finding Di Lorenzo coming in. He's contrived to split the difference between those two. Now, the Italian medical contingent were on, and just attending to Bonucci for a moment. The play's allowed to continue, and it will continue with an Italian throw, which will be taken by Di Lorenzo on their right-hand side. And we're in the final 5 minutes of normal time here on Talksport. England against Germany coming your way Monday night. England might already be guaranteed to finish bottom of the group by then. It's looking that way. Monto taking on Shaw, down by the dead ball line. Grealish doing well under pressure. Little back heel flick from him. Shaw provides him with the return ball. It's a neat little 1-2. Grealish then fouled by Gabbiadini, who already looks as though he's blowing. He's been on about 10 minutes. And England have a free kick, which Grealish looked to take quickly, and Dyer works it to his left-hand side for Declan Rice. Rice down for Shaw. Shaw to Maguire, and Maguire taking a touch on the edge of the D will now work it forward towards Eric Dyer. To Foden. James over the top. Sterling making a run, trying to get himself isolated against Toloi. And it's gone out of play. What's the verdict? A throw to Italy. Sterling thought he was fouled, or that Toloi got the last touch. The referee said that it was Sterling's touch, and it's out of play for a throw which the Italians will take, and England running out of time and chances.
Yeah, better movement there in behind. Good ball into the channel. Sterling getting into the channel. You can see Toloi, when he come across, he almost said to himself, I cannot let this kid get the ball and get turned on me, and just almost pushed him to the ground. The referee not agreeing it was a free kick though.
Well, this will be 5 without a win for England unless there's a stunning turnaround. The first time that they've gone 5 without a win since 2014 is Bellingham. Gabbiadini trying to take it on, can't do so. A few paper aeroplanes making their way down to the playing surface now. That's what the cheering is for. Cristante lays it back for Di Lorenzo. 3 minutes plus stoppage time to go. The Italians are going to make another double change with Fratesi and West Ham's recent acquisition Emerson, the men that will be arriving, as Pobega leaves it for Di Marco. And Di Marco coming into a central area. He's hit the post moments ago. Gabbiadini trying to flick it into the path of Cristante. England do well to get a foot in and win it back, and now chip it forward, but can't get it past Toloi. Di Lorenzo will take it on. Edge of the penalty area. Cristante opened up for him, and he's fired it over the bar. Should at least have forced Pope into making a save, and had he hit the top left-hand corner there, he surely would have scored. 1 minute remains. England still hanging in there by a thread somehow, but desperately short of time now as they look for an equaliser that will see them avoid relegation.
Yeah, just had an upturn by England, but certainly the Italians have regressed that at the moment, and certainly puts a lot of pressure on England. Hitting the post, good save by Pope, and they really should have made it 2-0 just then.
So Di Marco's coming off, and Emerson's going to come on to replace him. Very nearly set the seal on it a few moments ago. And Davide Fratesi, who plays his club football for Sassuolo, is going to be coming on, and he will replace Jorginho. So Fratesi for Jorginho in the midfield as the final Italian changes.
Just looking at Bellingham there, just on his haunches, bent over with his hands on his knees, looking very fatigued.
Well, it's a swift turnaround in these Nations League games. England back in action on Monday. And Jorginho a little bit slow in getting off the field. Grealish told him that, and there was an angry reaction between the pair of them. And England had that promising 5 or 6 minute spell, but they're looking bereft of ideas again now. They can't get the ball out of their own half at the moment. They've got a throw, but it's much nearer the edge of the penalty area than the halfway line. In fact, by the time the referee has ordered Reece James back, he's going to be level with the edge of his own penalty area before he takes it. And we're in the 90th minute. 4 to be added, maybe 5. Will Find out in a moment as Harry Maguire brings it forward. Maguire taking it down towards the left-hand touchline and finding Shaw. Shaw, infield, away from tall blonde hair for the Tazy. Back for Declan Rice. Rice to Eric Dyer. Now England bring it forward, James to Sterling, finding a pocket of space on the edge of the penalty area. Can't find Bellingham though, so trying to flick it off to his left-hand side, and the Italians get out. Gabbiadini for Nonto, good run forward from Di Lorenzo, back for Gabbiadini, scoops it hopefully out to his left, and Nonto's able to control it. Now the Leeds United man will run at the England back line towards the edge of the area, twisting, turning, getting the better of James, got a shot in which Dyer blocked, but it's out of play for a throw. 6 additional minutes to be added, but it will start with a throw that will be taken down by the corner flag by Italy. Stuart.
Yeah, at the moment play's just being stopped for an intruder on the pitch, but I think from England's point of view they'll be disappointed. We've not played with a tempo that I feel as though us as a team are good enough to certainly play with, and when we do play with tempo, as we've showed many times, we are a formidable team. But I think we've played into the Italians' hands, who had a little bit more know-how on how to play the game tonight.
Iran, the United States and Wales, England's 3 opponents in the World Cup. They will all be poring over the DVD of this over the forthcoming days and weeks. They might feel that they've been given a little bit of ammunition tonight. How to stop England as Grealish plays the ball forward. Foden on the stretch lays it back for Reece James. James to Dyer on the edge of his own penalty area. Grealish has got it, he's inside his box, and England need to get the bodies forward quickly. We've played 90 seconds of the 6 additional minutes. Maguire to Shaw. England trail 1-0. Rice, 4 for Jude Bellingham. Nonto back goal side of him, but Bellingham's still got the possession. And he lays it off for Foden. Foden running towards the edge of the penalty area, taking it on, slipping it to his left for Luke Shaw. Shaw back for Foden again. Foden can't get into a shooting position. Gabbiadini has caught him, no foul. Rice is back, almost able to chip it over the top for Sterling. James brings it down with neat control, slips it off to his right for Sterling. Level the edge of the penalty area. England in desperate need of an equalising goal. Little nutmeg of Cristante by James, taken on now by Raheem Sterling. England desperate for a goal from open play. They've not had one in the 5 games of this Nations League group so far. Rice opening up, right footed shot from him. Donnarumma's handling was assured. It was a slightly awkward zippy bounce in front of him, and he had Kane and Sterling bearing down, but there was no rebound off the goalkeeper. And that's another half chance for England that's gone, and there are 3.5 minutes of stoppage time to go before England's relegation is confirmed.
Yeah, a bit better there. A dipping shot, bounced just in front of Donnarumma, who dealt with it really well, I've got to say.
Clean sheet not too far away from him. Will only be the second in 8 games. They'll both have come against England, and Grealish has just picked up a yellow card for dissent, and he's got to make sure that he doesn't get another one. There's an angry reaction to the yellow card coming up, and to the initial award of a free kick to Italy on halfway.
That's a reaction that you can't deliver, especially with this referee. You know, he got the yellow card out quickly, then to react to that, got to be very careful.
Remember, this referee sent off Maguire and then James for dissent after the final whistle the last time he took charge of an England game. Sterling's been caught from behind, foul by Pabega, and a free kick to England just in Italian territory. But what it is an opportunity to load the penalty area. Harry Dyer's going to take this free kick. It's going to be a high hanging ball towards the edge of the box. No, it's not. He's worked it short. And towards James. James now delivers inside the penalty area. A right-footed clearance goes up in the air. Gabbiadini trying to buy a free kick from Declan Rice. Can't, so he puts the ball off the island and now to play for a throw. 2 minutes to go.
Just flooding back to me that performance that the referee put on last time out. It was woeful. And this one's marginally better.
Nonto brings it forward and James has fouled him. Free kick to Italy, which will enable them not just to get the ball out of their own half, but run the clock down. Foden helps Nonto back to his feet. He spotted the ball down for the free kick, but there's going to be less than 2 minutes to go. It looks as though England's fate is confirmed. And we talked about the ramifications of it. It's not the end of the world in terms of the Nations League, but what it does do is make England's life more difficult in qualification because of seeding for future tournaments. It's certainly going to be a huge frustration to finish bottom of this group. Not the psychological fillip that you want going into a World Cup. England 5 without a win at the end of tonight. I think you can guarantee that. We've got a minute to try and find an equaliser now. And leave here still in League A. Sterling back out for Reece James. James doesn't deliver on his right foot, chops it back onto his left. He's waiting for Sterling to make a run outside him. He's chipped it inside the area now, and Bellingham's header goes onto the roof of the net. Donnarumma was scrambling, he was beaten, but the header didn't come down in time. And England are going to lose and be relegated.
Yeah, really disappointing. We're desperate for a result tonight, certainly, and a performance. And if I'm being honest, we've certainly not got the result and the performance. I think we're all hoping for slightly better.
Big roar of anticipation from the Italian supporters. They know that the full-time whistle is imminent. Donnarumma takes the goal kick. England have won it back. Bellingham playing it forward. Kane trying to take it on. His touch goes too close to Bonucci. Ball cleared out of play for an England throw over on the far touchline. 6 minutes are up. Because of the pitch invader, there should be a little bit more time, and it is not very much. Maybe 20 seconds. One last chance to send it forward. England are only on halfway. Maguire down towards Shaw. Scoop forward with the outside of the left boot. Into the feet of Bellingham. Bellingham to Shaw. Taking it on again. Breaks behind Grealish. Referee's looked at his watch, but play goes on. Grealish to Rice. Grealish way forward by the England fans. Shaw trying to turn on the edge of the box. Grealish has got Maguire just behind him. Grealish, 3 Italian players converge on him, and he's lost the ball, and Italy will be able to bring it away. It's Fratesi leading the counter-attack. He's got options to his left-hand side, and the fact that he can't find Emerson cleanly is neither here nor there, because the corner flag's the intended destination here for the Italians, and they've got to that. And England in getting the ball out of play. See the full-time whistle spell the end of their time in League A of the Nations League, and those in white slump to the floor. It's a 5th game in this competition this season without victory, a 5th game without a good performance, a 5th game without a goal from open play. It is the guarantee of bottom spot in the group, and the frustration and ramifications that come with that. More pressingly, it's another hugely disappointing performance, lacklustre against a team that, built by the Italians, is one of the worst they've ever had, but is no psychological fillip whatsoever going into the forthcoming World Cup. England better than they were last time, but that wasn't a high bar to get over. They weren't good enough. Gareth Southgate will be the first to admit that. The game against Germany, now the final World Cup preparation game coming up, is academic as far as the Nations League is concerned. But England need an improvement. They need it fast, because the World Cup is going to be hugely disappointing if there isn't a whole-scale improvement between now and the 3rd week of November. Another really disappointing night. Not heroes, not quite zeros, but the San Siro, not a happy hunting ground for England this evening. It's finished Italy 1, England 0, and England are relegated to League B of the Nations League.